Hey, I'm in the back of the arcade working on something. I don't have room to work on things back here, but I'm doing it anyway, damn it. I don't know if you guys remember, but a bit ago I posted a thing about I had gotten 3 cocktail tables out of this guy's shed. All the machines were pretty much meh. One of them was the Galaga that I have kind of reloaded it with new stuff and put it in here in the arcade. The other one, we fired it up. The monitor was hooped on it, but it did have a board in it, and it had 2 control panels that looked like everything was all wired up. And we fired it up onto a different monitor, and it was a Miss Pac-Man board. It looked like a Miss Pac-Man clone, but I already have Pac-Man related stuff, so I didn't want to do that. So what I've been doing is I want 2 games in here. I want a Donkey Kong, and a Donkey Kong hasn't come up for sale yet, so I will probably build one. And I want a Quicks, and Quicks you just never see. So I figured I'd take one of these old cabinets and turn it into a Donkey Kong or a Quicks. So this one I decided, because it had the control panels for 2 buttons. You need 2 buttons and a 4-way joystick with Quicks. That I'll just do it on this cocktail table. So I'm putting an LCD screen in it because the 2 monitor, why bother when I'm rebuilding it? It's going to have a 61 card. So a couple things with this one is, let me turn the camera around and I'll show you. So it's an old Stern cabinet. I don't know what originally was in here. No idea. But it's labeled, well, it's a Stern coin door anyway, because it says Stern on it. So these were what was in there, but it only had 1 button because it was a Miss Pac-Man. And I don't know what I remember. So it had the joystick, and on one side this was a player 1 and this was a player 2. On the other side it just had the joystick. So I looked at these control panels, and this is some sort of add-on thing, this plate. But I looked on the back side, and it was actually the metal itself. There's actually a hole for a button there, and there. Those were already in place. So I'm wondering, whatever this used to be, maybe it just had 2 buttons or 4 buttons. There was no joystick. Because this joystick is not mounted correctly, so someone added this later. It's one of the cool joysticks with the leaf switches, so I'm leaving this joystick. I'm not changing these out, but these are new buttons with micro switches, but that should be okay. I will be removing these lights because I'm going to do what I did here, which I think is kind of cool. They just have little, they're powered by USB, and I actually have them for sale. They're over here. They look like this. It's just a little USB device, plugs in, and it just does this. And it's sound activated, as you can tell. And when there's no sound, it just does its thing. But I thought that was kind of fun, instead of just having just a white light or something behind it. And it's kind of cool how it sort of cycles through the different colors, and not too terribly obnoxious. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do on these. So I'll probably mount them somewhere in here. So let's look at that over here. So 2 things I had to do is I had to add a player 1 and a player 2 button. What I've noticed on these cabinets over here is people don't notice player 1 and player 2 here. They're always looking on the side of the machine on this over here somewhere. And on this machine over here, their player 1 and player 2 are down here. And so people sit down. I actually have a sign there. But people sit down and they start looking on the side over here somewhere for it. On this one, people usually find them here. So the Stern game, obviously the start buttons were probably on the control panel, but I decided to just put them here. I'm not really too concerned. The cabinet is pretty thrashed. So drilling holes into it, normally I wouldn't want to do something like that, but we don't know what this was. It's far from original anymore, so who cares? So player 1, player 2 there. Now, how do I mount the monitor? So on this one, the monitor is in there, and I actually use an old IKEA wall mount thing, but it's a little goofy. I didn't really like it. So what I did find is one of these little X monitor has the mount on the bottom, and it only sticks up from, it's supposed to be on the wall, but it only sticks away from the wall about this far. But that's great. What I'll do is I'll mount a shelf in here, and then I'll just put the mount right on there. That gives me lots of room to move around. I still have lots of room in here. This piece of wood was almost too small, but it's in there good enough. This looks like it's mounted a little cockeyed, but it's just the way that the monitor sits in there. Like, I had it sitting in here, I had it all measured out. I drew these lines to show where it was going to be, and so that should be fine. And it sits just below the glass, so it should be good. The only thing that I have to do now is wire it all up. What I'm going to do is I'll put a power strip in here. The power strip will plug into an extension cord. The extension cord will go out this little hole here out to the wall. That big hole there I'm going to cover up. The power supply for the 61 card will plug into this. I got a power strip with USB so that I could run my little USB lights, or if I wanted to add different USB lights, I could do that by way of that. Then when I just unplug this thing at the end of the night, all of that goes off. I don't think I'm going to wire up the coins, but I'll probably just set those wires off to the side so they're easy to get to. And I'll probably rob this switch out. And then the only other thing that I don't have here is how I'm going to do sound. And I forgot the grill for this at home. So that's no problem though. Alright, so let's get this all wired up and try it. Alright, take these things off. These are a little gross. See, so I'll take it off, I'll clean these, we'll put them back on. Without the lights on. Alright, if you've never wired a JAMMA harness before, that's what we have to do with this. So, on these, this one's actually marked, I don't know if you can see it, but with these, you've got basically, your power is up here, so grounds, here's your 5 volt positive, 5 volt negative, which this one, yep, that's the green one. 12 volt positive is this one. Key, meter, coil, these go to the speaker, but I'm not using that. I'm using a pit off of the card. So this is the card that I'm using. So we can plug the speaker into here, and we're going to plug the monitor into here. So we don't need to worry about the monitors, and that's what these are. Red, blue, sorry. These are the monitors, so red, blue. So we need, basically down here, this red one is the joystick up, joystick down, left, right, button 1, button 2. That's what we need we need to wire on here. We need to basically go red through this purple color. And these are just the positives, so all the negatives are ground together. So if you look on this, it's actually already been, like, negative comes in here and it circles all the way around to these. So we'll probably plug these two in. We'll come over here to this one with a hard wire. These are soldered on. We're going to have to solder these on. These will just clip on, but it should be pretty easy. When I work on one of these, what I always do is, they've got them all zip tied together. What I like to do is figure out what I'm going to be using, and I make them in groups. So here's player 1 side, here's player 2 side. These brown ones are for player 1 and player 2 start buttons, and this is kind of everything else, and we'll sort through that later. But really, that we only need, there's a service switch in here that we need to wire up. That gets us into the programming for this card. And that's about it. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. So this should go pretty quickly. I'm not going to bother filming it. I'm going to do these out of the machine because I think it will just be easier. I'll just wire up player 1 side, player 2 side, and then we'll drop those in the machine, and then we can go from there. On this, you'll notice I have labeled these left, right, up, down, because this sits in the machine like this, and so when you push up on it, when you push up on the joystick, it actually goes down like this and connects those. So that's the up one. That would be the down one. It's kind of weird. So I wanted to mark them so I didn't bother, because I'm soldering these. If I solder them in, it's more of a hassle to change it. But and then button 1, button 2, pretty easy. All right, let's get this going. This will take me just a few minutes, and then we'll come back. Okay, that was actually easier than I thought it was going to be, because I just cleaned, look at all this. I just wicked off all the old solder and cleaned up these points and flattened them out. And so I was able to snap these little guys in place without soldering. So that's good, because I can change things around now if I need to. Easily change things around, I should say. All right, I don't have the negatives in yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over to the machine. We'll kind of set these in place, and then we'll do the negatives over there, because I want to route these in sort of a nice kind of clean way and zip tie them all together. So but I need them over there to do it, and then we have that big pile down there we have to sort through. This is a card I'm going to use, or one similar to this. I think this one works. If not, I have another one. I want to mount this to the inside of the thing, but I don't have any little plastic standoffs. But look what I just found. These are these, you make a hole in drywall, and then you screw in, and then these kind of fill up the gap. I think if I clip one of these off, so there's only like about a half a centimeter there, that'll be just enough to keep it mounted just a little bit of a distance away from the wood in there. So I'm going to try that. All right, I decided to mount the card there, and that worked like a charm. Look at that. Awesome. I'm gonna have to remember that. It's actually nice and perfect. And these also stop the screws from going all the way through this wood. So those are the screws that came with it. So bargain. And I think that's a good spot. We'll plug in the harness here. We'll be able to route the wires along the back down up in here. This is for the monitor, so that goes there, right there. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. All right, let's hook some more stuff up. Okay, so these all look like they're in and good. I've got one screw holding this in. Same with this side, one screw holding this in. I think this is where I'm going to put my power supplies, right here. I need to tidy these cables up a little bit, but that's okay. Power switch. USB will power my fancy lights. I think this cable will go out of the game, and I'll plug that into an extension cord. I think that's the way I'll do it on this one. So this will only go out like just, a foot or so from the machine. I do have, this is hooked up. I have 2 buttons just temporarily in here, one for service and one for test. That's for programming it. I did get a new lock on this. So here's service and test buttons, and I will do something more clever. Not leave them like that. Maybe on the other one, I actually made a little panel here with some little push buttons. I'll change. These are the only buttons that I had in here right now, so I can change them to little micro buttons, or I don't know, something. But that'll do for now to get it all programmed and going. The only thing I don't have in here is sound. So with a board like this, and with the other one, I just hooked up some old multimedia computer speakers, and they work just perfectly fine. And you could put the speaker pointing out, like there's a speaker port right here. We could put a speaker going out this way. We could put one down there if we wanted to. There's another speaker port right there, so I could actually do one on this side and one on this side. Probably be the best. Then they always have kind of a crappy subwoofer, and just strap that down in here somewhere. So I'll bring that in tomorrow. I don't have one here. But yeah, I think that's good. I did test it and get it all hooked up and working. So the only thing that I have the glass at home. I just need something to put over this. And on this one, I just did some black paper for now. And by for now, I mean, that's the way it's been. And I'd like something a little bit better, but it's fine. It's fine. So this one, I'll figure out something. This one actually will sit closer to the closer to the glass than the other one. Because of the shelf system, that worked fairly well. All right, let's turn it on. Let me turn these lights off so we can see it a little bit better. Bloop. Quicks. Dun da da. And it starts a game. Does a little thing, starts a game. We can drive our little guy. We can do a fast draw. Whoa, ah. And we can do this is really hard with one hand. And holding a camera. Slow draw works. Great. Yeah, so now I'll just get some paper for it like I did on Galaga. Get some paper for it and do something. Maybe with this one I'll do something kind of wacky. I don't know. Different colors. And then I have the glass. I need brackets. So these are the little brackets that I have on this one. They're supposed to actually be 8 of them. So there's supposed to be one here and then one over here on each corner. But I only had, I think, 6 of them. So I figured, well, let me just try them with just one on the very corner and we'll see how it goes. And considering this game is here kind of always being watched, it's not like out in the wild where people aren't attending to it or anything. I figured that would be okay. And it has been. I haven't had a problem with it at all. So I do have some metal. I don't have any more of these. Well, I have 2 more of these somewhere. But I have some metal that I'm going to try to make some cool. They're stainless steel. And I'll see about making something to go on the corner of the new one. Yeah, so pretty easy. I think in all that took me about 4 hours. After I gutted the machine, it took me about 4 hours in here to kind of get it wired up. Every time I wire up a harness, I try to be very organized because the wires go crazy quick because there's a lot of little wires. So I try to be very organized first. I spend a bit of time with the harness going, okay, these are just for the 1 player. These are just for the 2 player. This is where the power goes. This is everything else. This is this. These are for the monitor, and get them all kind of sectioned off. And then installing it and dealing with wires after become much more manageable. So I spend probably more time doing that than just wiring stuff. I don't know, whatever. I think what I'm going to do once I get that set up is I'm going to bring it over here and we'll put it, I think I'm going to turn this machine around and then we'll put that little cocktail table right here somewhere. I thought about moving these around, but these are horizontal ways and those are the vertical ways. So it would work well here with a chair, kind of here and a chair there, and the machine right here, and this machine in the back or so. I don't know. That's kind of the only other place that I have for it. Atari Vindigators is over on the other side on coin play. I'm going to give it a couple more weeks. Nobody's putting money in that machine. They're putting money in all the other machines. I think because it's just kind of a weird machine, like it looks strange, and nobody knows what you're supposed to do with it. It's actually kind of fun, but it's not making any money. So I might actually bring it over here because it doesn't do me any good just sitting over there not getting played. If I bring it over here, people will play the crap out of it. So I might bring it over here and put it behind twin rifle. Well, I can't do that until I get the twin rifle thing fixed. And that's the next thing. That's what I'm going to work on probably tomorrow, a little bit tomorrow. I have to get that gear out of there, and then I have to figure out how to like weld that on there. We did think once that's finished, what we'll do is we'll put twin rifle over where Electra is, and then but now we've got this other game, so I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Something like that. Don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so that's quick and dirty, making a Quicks machine. Just a Quicks. All right, that's it. That's all I have to say. All right, thanks for watching.